We're just ordinary people living ordinary lives until we see someone on TV win a $25,000 prize. Come on down. I'll play any game for 10 seconds of fame. Come on down. I'll make a deal, just let me spin the wheel. Come on down. To win $1 million, all you need is a little luck and thorough knowledge of multiple disparate trivial subjects.
All right, welcome to an all-new episode of Come On Down, the game show podcast that
has the most.
Oh, that's all you're gonna say?
Oh, I thought we were gonna go back and forth.
Oh no, I thought you just had a fact that you were aware of.
Has the most amount of fake ads.
That is actually Guinness called to let us know. The beer company.
What do you say? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And for a sponsor?
No, absolutely. They said, please do not ever mention our name on your show.
And we just broke that.
Well, I mean, I think it'd be okay for them to just tell the story of it.
Okay.
Yeah. They a lot of threatening words and letters. I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, I'm John Baker.
I'm Jonathan Motney.
Today we're going to be talking about a game show that is probably why the rest of the world hates us. Right. Called Shop Till You Drop.
A game show that encourages people passing out or seizures.
Does it encourage that?
Till you drop.
Oh, okay.
They want you to shop so hard you're out of breath that you fall down. And I don't, for one, agree with that.
You think that's too much shopping?
I think that's too much shopping.
More shopping, less dropping.
It should be shop till you are slightly out of breath. And I think that rolls off the tongue better.
And then take a nap.
And yeah.
All right. So before we get started, we've got a sponsor.
A real one.
A real one.
Isn't that weird?
It's not Guinness.
It's a real one.
It's a real one.
It's a real one.
Okay.
And you can tell because I said real 3 times, maybe?
Yeah, you did several times.
Right. So I'll begin this real sponsor.
Okay.
Today's podcast sponsor is a chair company that creates a unique resolution to a difficult situation.
Everyone has that one friend or couple that outstays their welcome at your game night or dinner party.
Dropping subtle hints that you're tired or how your kid should probably go to bed that now that it's 10:30 p.m. aren't cutting it.
Just aren't cutting it.
Now
you can completely avoid the situation altogether with the BH chair.
The butt hurt chair is meticulously designed to be uncomfortable.
Like too uncomfortable that I wouldn't want to sit down?
No. The unique design combines a slightly uncomfortable feeling that builds over time to a steady ache in the sitter's lower back area.
Oh, so now I won't have to awkwardly and slowly slink toward my front door while saying phrases like, well, it was nice seeing you, or got a big day tomorrow, gotta start early.
That's right. Choose from their extensive selection of chairs.
The pins and needles in my feet chair.
The shift every 3 minutes to let blood flow into my butt and thighs chair.
The sharp, tiny dildo in my upper thigh chair.
The chair made for a 5th grader.
The uneven leg wobbler chair.
The butt suffocator chair.
The I think there's a snake in my chair.
Their popular smells like moldy diarrhea chair.
The made from animal bones chair.
The Nickelback on a loop chair, now with a 3-hour battery life.
My favorite, the racist chair. It's totally covered in fun words like taking advantage of this new beep sound effect we've got.
I didn't even know there were so many racist words. That's fun.
Come On Down listeners receive 50% off their purchase of a second chair with the promo code MakeMyButtHurt.
Next time those neighbors can't get the clue in their brains, give it to them in their butts.
And just to be clear, I want to make sure that since you've mentioned that this is a
real sponsor,
I just want to make sure that our listeners understand that the promo code Make My Butt Hurt, butt is spelled with 1 T.
Well, it's 2 on mine because I corrected it on mine and I had sent you an old version. So you have the old version. I guess both codes are going to work then.
Okay, because the company
sent
both of them, right?
Right.
Okay, the real company, the Butt Hurt chair. Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome. So thanks to the Butt Hurt chair, which is actually the chairs that we are sitting in right now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Which
one are you sitting in?
I'm sitting in the tiny dildo in my thigh chair.
Right. I am sitting in I think there's a snake in my chair.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I mean, people had been complaining about the episodes going on for a little too long, so we decided to try these butthurt shares.
Yeah.
Get in and out quick, wham
Right.
bam.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, today's episode, as we mentioned, is the game show Shop Till You Drop. And like I mentioned, this game show originally aired from 1991 to 94.
Okay.
It's had 3 revivals since then. It was revived in 96 to 97, 2000 to 2002, and 2003 to 2005. I would say that if you wanted to give like future people context, like a time capsule situation,
Okay.
and you wanted to give them 22 minutes of content to explain to them exactly what the time period of 1991 was like,
Yes.
one episode of this game show, I think, would perfectly do it.
Okay.
It is mall culture to the extreme.
Yeah.
It is consumerism run amok.
Nice use of the word run.
Thank you. And it's all about a pair of man and woman that are maybe married, that are maybe platonic friends, that are maybe brother and sister.
Right. And you can be all 3 of those.
Yeah. In certain
You can
regions.
be friends, you can be brother and sister, and you can be married.
All together now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this show is basically the reason for the Cold War. It's just like a show that you could have, and I know this was like kind of end of Cold War. I guess, late 80s, Soviet Union dissolved in
The Red Scare is now
93
done.
or something. But I think if this were a show that if you showed Soviets, they would be disgusted by. It would justify their hatred for America.
Yeah, and you would have to show them it on a projector in an abandoned church in the middle of winter in Russia to really heighten their anger and hate.
Yeah, with like no doors that close or anything.
correct.
Just wind whipping through there.
Yes. And maybe a pack of hungry wolves are in the corner of the church.
For sure. That's basically what everything in Soviet Russia was like. So, Shop Till You Drop It. It aired on the Lifetime channel.
Which is known for game shows.
Yes.
Only.
Yes.
Exclusively.
It's known for game shows, and the new Lifetime original movie, Wendy Williams, the movie.
Ooh. And that got what on Rotten Tomatoes?
There's no chance it got more than a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't think. I believe it just came out this last weekend.
And that was called Wendy Williams?
Wendy Williams, I believe, was the name of it. It's a movie about the life of the talk show host, Wendy Williams.
Okay.
And
So there are 2, Wendy Williams, What a Mess, and Wendy Williams, the movie, both in 2021.
that is very disheartening, and another reason that Soviet Russia should hate us. But I believe this one was Wendy Williams, the movie. On the
No
Lifetime
critics' consensus yet.
Yeah, they're still making up their mind on this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, it aired for 10 seasons all in all, and 980 episodes, which again speaks to our capitalism and consumerism run amok.
Yeah, just
in-
keep going.
in this
just keep
country.
squeezing the penny out of this product.
For the majority of its run, it was hosted by Pat Finn, who he was
Loved his book. Didn't like some of the creative choices.
all right. You're gonna
with
have to
some of the
explain
characters.
the bit to me now.
What book?
Oh, Huck Finn, is that what
Yeah,
you're-
that's what I'm going
got it.
with.
It was taking me a second to figure out what bad joke that the Russians would hate you were coming up with there. He was one of the Joker's Wild hosts. That's the game we talked about before.
Yeah.
He one of their revivals. He was the host before he was the host of Shop Till You Drop. And here's the way the show worked.
Please tell me. I've been dying to hear.
So basically, the set of the show looked like the best way I could describe it is a shopping mall atrium.
Okay. Like a loft apartment, but shopping mall?
Yeah, sure. Well, like the area in the middle of the shopping mall where there are escalators around the sides that you go up to the second story, that there's the balcony from the second story, that the food court is right up there above you, but you're down on the first story.
And not escalators, stairs.
Right. There's no escalators in this game show.
Yeah.
You've got to go up and down stairs.
It would have really killed the mood if you couldn't run up the escalator.
There's a timer going and you're just waiting on the escalator. We could have had some great going up the down escalator or down the up escalator moments, though.
Yep.
So there's a make it better for you. So it took place in this staged mall atrium area where there was, a semicircle behind the contestants of 7 storefronts on the bottom floor and 7 storefronts on the top floor. But also on the top floor, there were audience members that were sitting at fake food court tables around the balcony area.
And when he says audience members, he means the smallest amount of people needed to incorporate the S on the end of members. I believe it was 2 people.
No, I think there was it was like tables of 2, but I think there were maybe 3 or 4 tables of 2.
Wow.
So
it looks strange because you never saw them unless somebody was flying by in a dead sprint.
Right. Or they were just kind of off in the background while they were standing at their contestant podiums or something like that.
Guessing prices.
Yes. So like I said, there were 7 stores downstairs, 7 stores upstairs. As I mentioned, there were 2 teams of 2. It was almost...
That's 4 people.
Yep. It was almost always a male-female pair.
Yeah, that's all I saw.
It was frequently boyfriend-girlfriend, husband-wife.
Or the friend zone man with a woman.
Guy with the weird sideburns.
Yeah.
Which is a guy I saw.
Well, do you have red hair?
No, I don't think so.
Mine
he had brown hair.
Short,
And
red
he was
hair.
Oh, yeah, we used to work together. And I was like,
that was the boy? That was the man's voice?
Yes, that was... Yeah,
okay.
He goes, we used to work together. And the woman was like, yeah, we met at work. And
the woman was a 13-year-old boy trying to sound like an older man.
Yeah, it was me answering the phone as a kid. Hello, Baker residence. And they would compete 2v2. The way it worked, there were 2 stunt rounds. The first 2 rounds of the show, they called stunt rounds. And it's going to be hard to describe because
stunt's not the right word.
It's certainly not the right word, but what would happen was one of the teams would be selected to reveal the 60-second round game stunt, whatever, that they had to complete. They would explain the rules to them and then say, you can either play this or pass it to the other team. And then there was a second game stunt / whatever that if you passed, you would play that one. If you played this one, the other team would play that one. But you didn't get to know what that one was before making your decision on this first one. And these little mini games, they were always pretty
stunts.
Much...
They're called
these
stunts.
These little stunts were always like 60 seconds in time limit. And they would include things like, here is a rack of pants. Now, the guy has to put on a big oversized comic suspendery pants thing. We're going to put him on a medical scale. We're going to weigh him. You've got 60 seconds to increase his weight by 10 pounds by putting pairs of pants off the rack into the giant oversized pants that he is wearing.
Obviously.
And you can only grab 2 at a time. So that's a simple one. That's a simple, easily explained.
Yeah.
A game that we all played at home as a kid.
Right.
Put on as many pants as you can to gain 10 pounds.
Or the one, actually, I would say this is probably closer to an actual game we played maybe in elementary school or at a birthday party maybe. And it was slam down on the ground and pop balloons with your butt as hard as you possibly can to reveal a price within the balloon, which then you match with the product on the table next to you.
Yep.
Which I would play at birthday parties.
I think that's kind of more of like a baby shower type game.
Okay, yeah, and you match the So each one has a dirty diaper
Yeah,
filled
it's
with actual
explode with
baby
poop.
poop.
Yeah.
And you have to taste the poop and match it
What?
with which baby made the poop.
Oh, I was thinking which baby food it was before it was
Oh, I like that
double
better.
taste test.
Yeah.
And so there were all sorts of weird contrived games like this, all kind of around shopping or consumer
A lot of
culture for the
matching
most
prices
part.
with stuff.
There was a lot of matching prices stuff, kind of knockoff Prices Righty type of games.
Yeah.
There was one I saw that it was, here are some bales of hay, some bricks, and some pieces of wood. And the bricks are worth $5 each. The pieces of wood are worth
Did they have to play Settlers of Catan,
$10
dude?
each. The bales of hay are worth $20 each. And here are 3 products. And you have to take over the right amount of building supplies for what those products are worth.
Right.
But nothing was like $35, so you would need a 20, a 10, and a 5.
Oh.
Everything only needed one of the, so like one of the things was $60. It was like a George Foreman grill. And so it was just 3 bales of hay. And then the next thing you only used the wood for, and it was like 4. And then the next thing you only used the bricks for. And again, they had 60 seconds to do this. So they could have just guessed a few times and gotten it right, guaranteed. You know?
Yeah.
Like, so there's price matching. There's weird shopping spree-esque type of grab this stuff and bring it back here and get the right amount. I saw one that was, here's a big bowl full of hats, like a variety
Bowl full of hats?
like a gigantically oversized bowl full of hats.
Got it.
And different types of hats.
From different countries.
Yeah. And then both of them had to be blindfolded.
Okay.
And then they would name a type of hat. And they had to dig around in there to find that type of hat and then put it on the male's head. And then if they were correct, that was check. You go on.
Check.
And I think they needed to get 3 in the 60 seconds or something like that.
I mean, they must have had some sort of a hat fetish, because I saw one where there was a partition separating the man and the woman. The woman had to pick up a hat, put it on her head, and describe the hat without the actual saying the hat's name. And they were from specific countries.
Okay.
So a sombrero was from Mexico. German hat was from, or a lederhosen hat was from Germany. And yeah, that was it.
That was it.
They
Yeah.
had a matador fighting one.
So this one, it wasn't quite that like country specific, but there was like cowboy hat, fez, beret, things like that. But they never really linked it to a country. I did see one where there were products and there were countries, and you had to put the product from the correct country into that, like a little basket with that country's name on
How
it.
racist was it?
It was like there were everything went in the China bucket. Every single one.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Well, no, it was honestly just very hard. I thought it was way too hard. There were like 7 products, and you had to get 5 of them correct, which means you can really only miss one.
Yes.
Because if you miss one, you automatically miss another one.
Right.
So,
And if you miss one and it's the first one he opens, don't open the rest of them. They lost that round.
Right.
We know they lost that round.
And it was very hard because it was like L'Oreal, and one of the choices was France. And so it's like, okay, that's got to be France. But it wasn't.
Yeah, what was it?
It was Switzerland.
China? Switzerland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they missed that one pretty quickly, and it was all downhill from there.
Yeah.
And then like there was Denmark, Netherlands, and Germany were all options. And so many of those names just sound so similar to each other. It was very difficult. So that was the first 2 rounds. The first round was worth 100 points. Each team could get 100 points for completing their stunt round. And then the second round was worth 200 points per team. And if you successfully completed your game, in addition to getting the points, you chose a prize by choosing one of the 14 stores to choose your prize from.
And each store had a very different font to let you know
That is
this
a different
team
store.
worked really hard to
make up fake mall stores.
Yes.
And so the prize value was kind of random based on those. You could get lucky and get a really good prize. There was also a shopper's special in one of the 14 stores that they didn't tell you where it was, obviously. But if you selected the store with the shopper's special, you won a trip.
Nice.
So
To Detroit?
Yeah. This was when Detroit was booming, though.
Right.
This was pre
Classic 90s
8 Mile.
Detroit. Yeah.
So that's how the first 2 rounds worked. Then we go to the final round, which was called the Shopper's Challenge. And I don't really know why it was called that, other than they just wanted to work shop into the name of the thing because it's in the name of the show.
Yeah.
Because this was basically just a trivia round. And it was 90 seconds. And they each team had their podium. One person would be at the podium. They would ask a question, buzz in first to buzz in and get the correct answer, got 50 points. And then they would swap it out with each other, and the other person would be up at the podium now.
If those questions were all directly related to food, this would have been a direct ripoff from Supermarket Sweep. It's the same exact thing.
Yes.
Partners are switching each question. Trivia.
Shopping.
A host that's a man.
Wow.
Shopping. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, and then at the end of this round, whichever team had accumulated the greatest point total.
Greatest point total?
Yeah, of all time.
Yeah.
If you didn't...
So it didn't have to be the most. You just be like...
Yeah, that's a pretty great. Like, if you got 69.
Yeah, they were like, that's pretty great. You guys win. I don't know how you got 69 points, but...
It's weird. Everything was worth 100 or 50.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, whoever won that with the most points goes to the final round, which was the shop till you drop round. And in the first season, so basically there were 6 boxes of shopping mall items.
Yeah.
And one person on the team member would be the gift opener, basically.
The person who just lifts a box.
Yes. And the other person would be the returner. So
not runner or sprinter, as one of the contestants said, and was aptly corrected.
Oh, were they?
By the host.
Even though every single person ever ran and sprinted.
Correct.
But for safety purposes, they're like, no, we're not encouraging anything like that.
Yeah.
So they would open a gift, open a box, decide whether they wanted to keep this or exchange it. If you chose to exchange it, the returner, not runner, whatever, would take it, head to the store of their choice, where they would drop off that, grab the closed package that they have no idea what is inside over there, and take it to a table and ring a bell.
Yes.
And then the person would open the next thing and decide whether I want to keep or return this. And so the obvious decision that you're weighing here is, I know what this is. I can probably have an idea of how much it's worth. Do I want to trade it for something blind, basically, that I hope is worth more?
Yeah. The tag is sticking out of your hat, and it's driving me nuts.
Where is it?
Right there.
Right here. Look at that. I got it.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to upset
No, it's
you.
fine. And it's, just learn from this.
I will. So in the first season, the goal was to accumulate at least $1,000 worth of stuff. And you had, I believe, 90 seconds for this final round as well to do all of your exchanging and opening. In the subsequent seasons, it was $2,500. I think the dollar value of the stuff that you opened was higher to help you get there. And if you exceeded $1,000, you won a trip. Like, I saw people won a trip to Italy or something like that.
Hawaii seemed to be pretty popular.
Yeah. And if you didn't, you still got to keep all of the stuff that you brought to the table at the end. And if you win, you also get to keep all of that stuff.
Except the points. They did not let you keep the points.
You have to return them because they need those for the next episode.
Right. They wanted to recycle the points.
Yeah. But you did get to win all of your fantastic consumer goods as well.
Yeah.
Which is what shopping at the mall is all about. It's not about trips to Hawaii
and I want
to Italy.
I want to tell you something
Please.
that I learned today. And I kind of knew this in the back of my head, but a situation occurred that really solidified the lesson for me. Shopping for a house is really hard. I haven't been able to get that gratifying, materialistic happiness, that endorphin rush from completing a purchase. It's a lot of, I'd like to buy this, no thank you. So I bought some shoes.
Okay.
Some sick Converse shoes.
Converse, that's owned by Nike.
And I got them in the mail today, right before you showed up. Opened them up, have not been able to put them on yet. But opening up those shoes and seeing them and holding them in my hand, I just totally forgot that I'm homeless.
Wow, that's certainly a one way to phrase that.
So I think instead of finding housing for homeless people, we go around
Give them
on a weekly
Converse?
basis and just give them enough of a material to get that endorphin rush so they can forget how hard their life is.
So instead of solving their problems, we want to trick them into thinking they don't have problems?
Correct. You Band-Aid, 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 but they're still accumulating items. You
Which
know?
is what life is all about, honestly.
In America, yes, it is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Not in Russia.
Well, you can't judge life by that because there are no things to buy in Russia.
So my question is, if in this is because again, this is a very late 80s, early 90s program.
Yeah.
Everything about it screams of that era.
Yes.
In the Soviet Union, what do you think their version of this game show would have been?
Oh, I think it's called find something of value in a pile of snow and run from wolves, and you win the game by not being killed by a pack of wolves eating you.
And if you win the final round, rather than a trip to somewhere in the world, you got a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
That was
And
the
you
big,
got
the big prize.
no. You got to be the first to wait in line
The
for the
first in
loaf
line
of bread.
at the bread line.
Yes. Yeah. Or you got a trip to a slightly less frigid area of the Soviet
And
Russia.
if you lost, you got a trip to Siberia.
and you could become the new Stalin.
Wow. All right. But yeah, I think this show perfectly demonstrates why anybody else in the world would hate Americans, because it's ridiculous. It's
And they're
absurd.
jealous.
And they're haters.
Look, it absolutely is
fucking
absurd.
haters.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that our society and our economy is not insane, but it's so much fun to just buy random shit with a click of a button. I could have a prostitute show up to my door.
At the mall?
A Russian one. Yeah, I could meet her at the mall if I wanted to.
You know what my favorite mall store is?
What's-
GameStop.
Why is that?
GameStop. Well, because everybody's getting rich from GameStop right now.
Not a lot of people are getting rich.
Everybody.
No.
Everybody.
I think maybe
am.
8 people are getting rich on GameStop.
I'm getting rich.
How much richness
Well, I
did you
lost
get?
$2,000 yesterday, but think about when that turns that could probably turn into $2 million the other way.
That's true.
It's like a ping pong effect. 2,000 down, 20,000 up, 200,000 down, 2 million up, and then I check out.
And then just both people lose though because you're a nerd playing.
And then I
ping
go
pong.
down the up escalator with my riches. I've seen a lot of good jokes about how GameStop stock is worth $350 or $12.50 in credit at GameStop.
That's great. Hey, that's why they have been able to stay afloat for as long as they can. Just over
Taking advantage of our consumerism run amok.
You don't have to buy
As
the game
per
there.
usual.
You don't have to buy the game there. You can buy it from some shady ass Chinese store online. That's a rip-off store.
Alibaba?
But it's
No,
way
Alibaba.
cheaper.
They got rid of the ripoffs at Alibaba now. You have to use DHgate. If you guys are looking for any counterfeit goods, like you might find in Chinatown of your local big city, Head to dhgate.com and get all the counterfeit Chinese goods you want. It'll only take 28 days to arrive, and it'll smell a little weird, but it'll be fine.
Dude.
How much are
Second
they paying?
sponsor.
How much are they paying
Second
us?
sponsor. They're paying us 9
That's
counterfeit
where I buy
things.
all my sunglasses, by the way. You can get all sorts of designer sunglasses for like $25.
Rip-off designer?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a fake
It's probably
person.
made by the same people that
You're a
made the
fake
real ones.
person. Oh, that's smart.
They know what they're doing already. Yeah, I mean, this is a mall show. It's crazy that, I guess in the same way that it's weird that Supermarket Sweep is a supermarket game show,
Mm-hmm.
it's weird that this is a mall game show. It's somehow more weird to me than Supermarket Sweep, because there was something of the actual sweep in Supermarket Sweep that made sense to me in terms of this is kind of what shopping is like. Whereas there's nothing in Shop Till You Drop that is anything like what... It's like, oh, I don't want these pants. Let me exchange it at the photo store for a camera.
Yeah.
It's not how it works.
Right.
It's not how the mall works.
Also, the entire Till You Drop aspect of it seems like it's not in the thing. Because anytime I've been to the mall, I take my sweet ass time walking up and down the whole thing.
They've got escalators.
I'm not going in many stores.
They've got escalators.
Right. So nothing about this is a mall except that there are different stores with different fonts.
Except there is an Earthbound trading company that has
There is.
samurai swords and incense.
That's true.
And hacky sacks.
Mm-hmm. It's sort of what's a good metaphor here? Something that it has a lot of different random shit in it. Like the human body.
What?
Yeah, you've got lungs that are there for breathing. You've got blood there to carry the oxygen. Those things don't make any sense.
Okay, those are all factual statements.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'd like you to explain to me how in any way that ties into a shopping mall or...
No, I'm tying it into the metaphor that a whole bunch of different things in this show don't make sense in a mall scenario.
I still am not following.
That's okay. I'm too smart for you.
I guess that is probably
and
true.
all of our listeners who are equally as confused as you.
The mall was definitely... When do you think was the end of malls? What year do you think that was? Like 2000?
I mean, for me, it was probably, post-college.
For you, right. But I think for the culture, they've run their course. I think malls are closing down and they're becoming
when like my mom does a lot of art classes at the local community college. And when her presentation or her showing, I guess, was in a mall.
Was it?
Yes. It was because malls are renting out their stores that have all left.
Right.
And so the community college had enough money to secure this store to show art from this particular art class. And I think that was the first time I had been in a mall in a long time that I walked in and looked around and realized, oh, this is a dying thing.
Well, yeah, the problem was, I mean, the whole idea of the mall is you can go to this one place and you can get anything here.
Mm-hmm.
Every manner of things. You can get your video games. You can get your pantsuits. You can get dragged into a weird focus group. You can get a modeling contract. You can get the ice cream of the future. You can ice skate.
Yeah.
It's all there. You can get Chili's.
Yeah, you can get high and go with your friends and bet on which of the little kids is going to fall on the skating rink.
That's just a pure hypothetical of things that you can do.
I'm just talking about fun things you could do at the mall.
At the mall. You could put on jean jackets with your friend and aviators.
Right.
And then go walk around the mall and approach girls very confidently and then spin away and continue walking at the last minute.
A coordinated spin.
A coordinated spin around the girl.
Around the girls, and then never turn around to see if that led to maybe a conversation.
No, it was funny enough in your head that it doesn't really matter.
It's so funny that you don't have the confidence to talk to random people. It's hilarious. We were in control of the situation. This was a hypothetical.
Oh,
Hypothetically, we would be in control of
Right,
that
of
situation
course.
if it happened at a mall.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the great thing about the mall. But now the problem is, and I mean, the solution really that has killed the mall is the internet, obviously.
I mean, Amazon specifically.
Amazon is the mall now. You can get your video games. You can get your samurai swords.
Yes, your pantsuits.
Your pantsuits.
But you know what it kills, though? It kills, like, hypothetically, if you were now married and didn't need to approach women, putting on that jean jacket and just doing coordinated spins in your living room doesn't have quite the same effect as doing it with your friend to strangers.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
And there's really no as seen on TV store at home.
There is not. That was a gamble store. Sometimes the thing you bought was awesome, and sometimes it was a crappy product.
Yeah. And it also led to many things that just can't translate online at all, though, like PacSun or Journeys or some these type of stores that literally just only existed in malls.
Yeah.
Who's ever been like, oh yeah, I went
the
to
Dallas Cowboys memorabilia store?
Yeah. I went to PacSun.com to order some new board shorts. I don't know. Maybe some like divorced dad does that.
Yeah. I would say there's a huge gap. It's like the Jesus gap. When you're younger, board shorts was cool, and then there's those 20 years of mystery, and then when you become a divorced dad, that's when you go back to the board shorts.
What does that have to do with Jesus?
So you remember Jesus' life in the Bible?
Oh, he was like born and then he was 30?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you not get these very clear metaphors? That
I'm sorry. It's been a rough morning for me. I've been struggling along. I was doing some Bible study earlier today, and so I just
were you using the Evangel Cube, or do you read the actual Bible?
No, I read the Braille Bible. I'm trying to learn Braille.
Okay. How is it easy? Is it hard?
Well, see, my thought was, okay, well, I know every word in the Bible. If I am reading Braille, I'll know what those words are. That will help teach me.
Okay. So you've got your open Bible on this side, and you've got the Braille Bible on this side.
No. I only have the Braille Bible.
Oh, because you know by memory. You know the Bible by memory.
Right. That was what I thought.
Got it.
That was what I thought.
Abruptly clear that.
No, it turned out I knew the Lord's Prayer, and there was more to it than that.
And most people think that, which is
unique. I thought that was it. I thought that was pretty much it.
Right. And what is the Lord's Prayer?
Our Father,
who art in heaven,
crushing it.
Hallowed be thy name. Amen. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Amen. He was just our Father is up there, and he's crushing it, and I respect him for that. and in Braille, that's 3 dots a line, 4 dots a cube, and 2 golden arches.
There are cubes, and the golden arches aren't McDonald's.
No. That's crushing it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Crushing it.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't know.
Yeah,
that was originally a God thing. That was
what was the arches.
The everything from McDonald's. It is all just straight ripped out of some of the books in the Bible that are only in like the director's cut. That they didn't like. It was getting a little long. They didn't need to.
We had to chop some of this out.
Needed to cut some stuff out. But some of that original content that I think right now Zack Snyder is reworking for HBO Max version of the Bible.
Right.
It's some of that stuff that we've seen. McDonald's, Reebok, and
Adidas,
LA Lights have taken. I mean, God said, "Let there be light."
And it's funny, obvious. And that's one of the parts they cut out of the Bible. It was God, God said, "Let there be light," comma, just slam your heels, and they had to cut that.
Yeah. See, there's just some stuff that was removed that got lost in translation along the way. The Bible was originally in that Lord of the Rings language, I think.
Right.
So,
Farsi.
Yeah. But I think the thing about malls now is they're trying to find, new ways to continue existing. mall walking became a thing, and it's probably even more popular now in places like Texas where it's hot, so old ladies can
Not die.
go walk around.
Yep.
In a powerful sort of way.
Right. Kind of like a pack of really angry barracudas.
Yeah, it's like, I would say that the best metaphor or analogy that you can do for the mall walkers in American malls would be like the starving wolves in Russia. They're just pacing. You don't really know what they're up to, but you always want to keep them in the corner of your eye, and make sure they're not
up to
anything, because you never know.
Right.
They might snap at you for absolutely nothing because they're just kind of grumpy. That's kind of their...
You're wearing something that kind of maybe scares them. It reminds them that they're getting older and don't understand how the world works anymore.
And the wolves feel the exact same
They feel
way.
That's why they attack so much, because they think if we can kill this thing we don't understand, we go back to knowing who we are and knowing our world.
And I think it's upsetting to me that a lot of people don't know this about wolves.
Yeah. Why does that upset you?
Because I think there's a lot in this world that we could learn from, say, the Dr. Doolittles of the world, with regards to the temperaments of the animals and why they're ornery and things like that.
Yeah. And if we understood that, we would have a little better symmetry between...
I think we need more harmony with our wildlife.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Do you, outside of potentially putting on jean jackets and aviators and walking through the mall with me in a theoretical scenario.
In theoretical scenarios.
Do you have any good memories of the mall, or bad memories of the mall from being a teenager? I feel like teenagers of our age and of the probably 20 years of people older than us, and maybe the 10 years of people younger than us.
It's a very specific group.
I don't know. Those generations.
Yeah.
You get dropped off at the mall at lunchtime, and then somebody's mom came and picked you up at 4:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you just almost always you had no money. You were not a potential customer for any of these stores.
Yeah.
You were just walking around, mostly going in and out of stores, looking at stuff and never buying any of it.
Right. The literal opposite of American consumerism. Looking and not buying.
Because
you were essentially destroying the economy as a teenager.
Which is honestly a pretty noble goal to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What did you get up to at the mall?
So the only mall memories that stand out in my head are when I was an older man, like mid-20s, mid-late 20s.
Okay.
When Fran and I would go to the mall and drink at Dave & Buster's, and then go and make bets. We would just bet on stuff. We would, like, one time there was one of those like A-frame advertisements that were like outside on the ground. It looked like the piso mojado, like wet floor.
Okay, yeah.
And I had to...
A sandwich board.
Yes. And I don't remember what the bet was, but it was something along the lines of, how much do you think that costs? And so I said, I think it's probably $100. Fran probably went higher because he always did.
The item on the advertisement?
No, the actual sandwich.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so I had to I went in and I had to ask the poor, just like young girl who's just trying not to hate life and work.
What she was doing later?
No. How much does she do? How much is that? And I kept pointing up front, and she kept not understanding what I was talking about.
Well, obviously, because that's obviously not a thing that's for
So
sale.
I had to walk with her to the front of the store and go, this thing. And she goes, I have no idea. And walked back in. And then we just moved on to the next bet.
So who won?
Nobody won that bet because we couldn't get a damn answer from the girl.
How would she possibly know that?
I don't know. Another thing was we would... It was just anything. We bet on anything. And I lost a bet one time, and it was usually money, but we started to get bored of just doing monetary bets. So we decided to do embarrassing bets, similar to that game show where those friends have to do embarrassing things in front of each other.
Oh, Impractical Jokers?
Correct. And so I lost a bet one time and had to go into this common sitting area and do somersaults across the entire thing. And somersaults are not easy to do as an old person who you're not as flexible.
To be clear, you were like a 26-year-old man doing this.
And so your body doesn't bend like a ball anymore. You kind of have a flat back. So every time, correct, you smash your upper back and neck area, and you have to do that 12 times in a row because you lost the bet and you're a man of your word.
Right.
And then you get your friend to film it. So maybe we can put that on our Instagram.
Do you still have that film?
Yeah, I'm sure it's somewhere.
All right. Yeah, I don't know that I have spent as much time as an adult hanging around malls as you, mostly because of court orders.
Yeah.
But definitely, I was definitely one of those people in my youth, especially, the mall had a movie theater on the third floor. And you'd go and you'd just like find a movie to go to that worked in the time. Like now I go to the movies when I want to see a movie at a specific time.
Yeah.
Then you would go to the mall and you'd walk around and you'd be like, oh, Mr. Deeds is playing at 1:45.
Yeah.
Should we see that?
You have to figure out how long the movie is.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to call your mom on the payphone.
But you say, did you ever use the 1-800-COLLECT?
You do the 1-800-COLLECT and you'd be like, go to the movies, pick us up at 3:30.
And then you hang up.
And
your mom just goes, no, I don't accept the call from that.
I don't accept the call from
But I got all the info I needed.
Pick me up at 3:30. But yeah, I mean, I hung out. I probably, on occasion, made some trouble. I think one time we were trying to get the mall security guard to chase us.
Was Jackass popular at this time?
Yeah. And it wasn't like we actually did anything. We were just like, if we run out of the store, they'll think that we're stealing something, but we didn't do anything wrong. So what can they do?
Yeah. How'd that work out?
No, they just let you run out the store, it turns out.
Were you impressing the girls you were with? Or was this a wolf pack?
I mean, hold on a second. Let me start by saying the girls I was with were never impressed.
Really? Are you sure?
Oh, I'm
call them now.
Call them on the pod. I'm 100%
call them on the pod and let's check.
None of them were ever impressed by anything. I was very impressed by myself many times.
Well, because you've created a personal goal and you crush that goal.
I'm always crushing goals. But
you're always arching goals.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always. They call me double golden. Or
boy.
Yes.
Double golden boy.
Double golden boy. Yeah. So that's. I don't know. I have a lot of fond experiences of the mall.
Same.
Of getting a Steak Escape Philly cheesesteak.
And those fries, those steak cut fries.
So good. And,
Sbarro.
Laughing at the hilarious gifts you might find in a Spencer gift store.
Oh my gosh, dude, those were off the chain.
Visiting my friends that worked at American Eagle. Like you.
You visited me?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But I knew you worked there.
Yeah.
Which is why I only shopped at Hollister.
I tried to get a job at Hollister and they would not accept me.
They laughed in your face.
They very kindly.
They said, hold on, take off your shirt.
And I said, next. Thank you, next. And then I went into American Eagle and they said, are you breathing? And I said, yes. And they said, you're hired. See you tomorrow at 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. when we do a store rechanging.
Fun. So Shop Till You Drop, our mall game show, took a weird turn for its final revival. 2003 to 2005. Pat Finn was gone, dead.
He actually died?
No.
Okay.
Just to them.
Right.
Replaced by a guy named J.D. Roberto. And the mall setting, also dead.
No.
Yes. It was now like a Sam's Club or a Costco.
Okay.
And there were 12 or 14 departments in the big box store.
Okay.
Rather than different storefronts.
Okay.
I don't know why they shifted to the big box store, because this was, again, 2003 to 2005. Malls were still a thing at this point in time.
Yeah.
Malls were still relevant.
Maybe this is what killed the mall.
This is what they...
People said
People
TV.
saw this show on PAX Network, which it was on at this point in time.
Which you could also order on PaxSun.com.
Yeah, well, see, we talked about how PacSun doesn't survive anymore. They pivoted to being a TV network that airs game shows about big
Board
box
shorts.
stores.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There were definitely board shorts as one of the prizes in the Shop Till You Drop round. And also it turned into just much more of a trivia show, much more of a supermarket sweep at the beginning version instead of the stunt rounds. It was a lot more trivia rounds. And JD Roberto, by the way, so I looked this guy up. So Pat Finn, we mentioned, he hosted all the other previous versions of the show in the mall atriums. And here's the thing, I keep saying mall atrium. I don't really know what an atrium is. I'm just assuming it's the thing
it's
that I'm
something you
thinking
put
of.
fish in, right?
That's an aquarium?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it wasn't. Those words are different.
Those are different words.
Okay.
Very similar in Braille, by the way. I know that might be what's tripping you up.
So the aquarium is in the shape of a fish?
Yeah. So actually, again, going back to the Bible, when Jesus turned the fish into
Braille fish?
bread.
Bread.
He did something with fish.
He multiplied it.
Did he teach a man to fish?
He multiplied the fish and he made a whole bunch of fish.
Right, and he took those fish out of an atrium.
And he said, sushi for everyone.
He took those fish from an atrium. Is why you're confused.
Okay.
So Pat Finn, we talked about, he was Joker's Wild host. He kind of had a game show production company. JD Roberto, very interesting guy.
Yeah.
I've looked into JD Roberto. So he's hosted a few different game shows. He also he hosted a show on BYU TV, like a talk show, I think.
Okay.
Which he got nominated for a Daytime Emmy for.
Wow.
He also hosts an online live streaming workout program.
Okay.
That he also has been nominated for a Daytime Emmy for.
Okay.
He also was a stuntman for the Amazing Spider-Man movies and a few other movies. He also hosted a few other shows in like the early 2000s. Like he hosted a show called, I think, Are You Hot?
What's that?
So this was early 2000s so we talked about the early 90s, late 80s was kind of that consumer culture, mall culture time period.
Yeah.
He also was very successful in the early 2000s, obsessed with looks and appearances time period of television.
Okay.
So there was the Are You Hot, which was a show in which people were gradually eliminated for not being hot enough, and then the hottest won at the end of the season or whatever.
Okay. So it was what Mark Zuckerberg created, his first website.
It was originally called The Are You Hot, but they dropped the.
Okay.
And like there was a show, I think it was called like The Swan, that was about ugly people getting plastic surgery to see who was the hottest after getting plastic surgery.
So it was like Nip Tuck, but a real life documentary style.
Yeah, it was like The Bachelor, but like you don't get a rose if your plastic surgery didn't make you hot.
Oh my gosh.
Paris Hilton was all the craze at the time. It was that time period. So he did that also.
Of course.
So what I'm saying is JD Roberto can do anything.
Yeah,
he's a dynamo.
He really can.
He's also a writer. He's got some books or something.
Oh yeah, he's the author of the Hands-On Dad blog, which he wrote for the Huffington Post, The Bump, Parents Magazine. He wrote a screenplay called Heavy Water that was named a top 10 finalist in the American Zoetrope screenwriting competition.
How many like legal settlements or bastard children does this guy have that he has to just take every single possible job opportunity?
Yeah.
That like he's like, oh yeah, he's a game show host. By the way, also he was Spider-Man in the stuntman version of Spider-Man.
Yeah. And you're like, why, JD? Why are you so? And he pulls out his wallet and just 900 pictures
down to the ground of all these children that he has from different women that he's paying child support on.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know why we needed a big box version of Shop Till You Drop. I mean, that game show already exists, and it's called Going to Sam's Club.
And it's fun because everybody can play it.
And everybody is playing.
That have big families.
I went to, so you know how we're in the middle of a pandemic right now?
Are we in the middle of it? Yeah. I mean, a vaccine is out.
Hopefully
now.
we're near the end of it, but like,
who knows?
You know, in terms of amount of deaths and cases, we're probably still kind of in the middle of it at the moment. But near the beginning of the pandemic, you know, because how this pandemic causes you to shit all the time, so you need all the toilet paper.
Oh, yes, got it.
So we went to Sam's Club one day, or I went, and it was like a Tuesday at 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, all right, at least it's, you know, off hours for Sam's Club. And I don't even remember if I was going specifically to get toilet paper or just other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled up to Sam's Club and I walked in, and it was so busy they were out of shopping carts.
Wow.
Because everybody was pooping.
Yeah. Wow.
And everybody had, you know, their baby wipes in between their hands and the
shopping cart.
And the shopping
because
cart
at the
holder.
time we thought
touching you get this no. You get this from touching.
Right. And
now we learned that's not true.
Yeah. It's much worse in places that have bad airflow.
Bad airflow, like a Sam's Club, like JD Roberto's
tiny home that he can only afford because
of all the child support that he's paying. JD Roberto is going to sue us for defamation or something, which he can't afford to do because all the other legal fees that he has. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
Do you have any make it betters for Shop Till You Drop?
I mean, I have 2.
Okay.
I think you should give the not runner. What are we supposed to say?
Returner.
The returner.
Or exchanger.
I think we should give the returner a fireman's pole option to slide down the middle in between the staircases. And if they drop the present or if they drop the product, they don't get to run it over to the keep table.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a risky move, but a potentially much faster way of transport.
So if it's a big clunky thing, you're not going to want to take that down a fireman's pole, probably.
Yeah, it depends on how good your pole experience is.
Mm-hmm. So if you have like a stripper on the team, then you might want to send her
a male stripper. Because they would never have the woman be the returner.
It was much like we talked about with Supermarket Sweep. There was a lot of sexism under the surface there.
Uh-huh.
But it was smart because men are going to be faster and stronger and better. So that was smart.
Obviously. And the second make it better was I think the people in the fake food court should have an opportunity to try and trip the shopper as
that was exactly what I was going to say, by the way.
I mean,
that's an obvious one.
It's a missed opportunity.
It's an obvious one. Obviously, the fake food court people should be more of an obstacle.
Yeah.
And what you do is you put the more high value stores upstairs because it takes longer to get there. Mm-hmm. You've got obstacles to deal with. So it's a risk reward. There's some more strategy involved in there. Because the other thing about this show that annoyed me, I guess, is there's really no right way to do it. Like there's no good strategy to have necessarily. It's a random crapshoot of
I mean, the only edge you can give yourself is knowing prices of stuff really well. That way you know, like, I don't have to run around. This thing is worth $800.
Right. Yeah, I saw one where the Pat Finn pointed out at the end, like, hey, you exchanged these men's shirts. These men's shirts were worth $260 or something like that. And you kept this Polaroid that was $37.
You idiot.
But I think people see electronics and they're like, yeah, this is... And it was funny because I was watching an episode and they were at like $962.
Ooh.
Going into the last...
This was the 1,000 round or the 1,000
version? The $1,000, yeah. This was the very first season. So they were at like $962. So they needed $38 from the last thing. And they open it up and it is a like skip-proof Walkman CD player. And I was like, oh shit, this is going to be close. Was what is that, $40? Is that $50? Like that'll get them.
Yeah.
That'll get them there. This could be really close. What if it's $35? You know, and it was like $300.
Oh, because it was
1991.
Yeah, and it was skip proof.
Skip proof is top technology.
That was huge
at the time. Remember that? You had like, my Walkman's got 20 seconds skip protection.
Yeah.
I can shake it for 20 fucking seconds before it skips. And my CD's scratched to all hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think escalators. I mentioned that earlier, but I think if you've got escalators, and so you've got to, if you're closer to the down escalator and you're wanting to go down, maybe you've got to go, or you've got to go up the down escalator or down the up escalator.
Oh wow!
As can I make this? Will this make it faster for me? You've got to make those tough decisions.
Yeah, dang.
I think we should have seen more of that. Put some shin pads on them, so
that'll be fine.
They're fun. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, overall, I would give this game 2.5 out of 5 buzzers. I think it was just half of a good game show.
Yeah.
And I'm not even necessarily talking to the fact of the celebration of overconsumption and capitalist culture, greed and whatever, and malls. Just in the way the game show is structured in general and how it plays out. It's fine to watch.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not something that is very easy to play along at home. The stunts aren't super entertaining for the most part.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5.
I think that's a fair score. I would go with a 2.5 as well, because for what it lacks in entertaining media, I think it makes up in pacing. It is a fast-paced,
very fast-paced,
easy to watch 25-minute episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's very, very fine is the best I can say about it. If you'd like to learn any more, we'll go a little more in depth in our Braille summary of the episode. If you want to order that from comeondownshow.com, you can order our Braille summary.
And what makes our Braille book different, or Braille summary, is that we use Skittles instead of tiny bumps.
Yes.
So it's much easier. Like if you have, if you have bad eyes, it's harder to read as an older person. The same thing happens if you have weak fingertips. You can't really feel as well. So it makes it easier for people to.
Also, if you do want to go on Amazon now, there is actually a Braille version of that 25 to 30 year gap in Jesus's life that was cut out of the theatrical release of the Bible. It
came out on a Tuesday.
It is. They thought at the time it was a little slow. They might lose some people, but I feel like after Braille reading it that really adds some context to this Jesus character.
Yeah,
and kind of you better understand his motivations. Like when what we didn't know. We didn't know the context of that time that Jesus and his pals turned 18. They went to the casino, and they were playing some blackjack. Jesus got on a heater. He was up big. There was a guy sits down to the left of Jesus. He hits on 16. He busts. The dealer turns over a 4 for a 20. He had the dealer had a 16 shown. Turns over a 4 for a 20. This guy took the bus card.
Yeah.
Jesus is pissed.
Okay.
All right. He is fuming about this. He gets on some massive tilt.
Yeah.
Loses it all. So I think that helps better. When there are the gamblers in the church, that's why it took Jesus back to that moment where he lost it all. He was saving that money at the casino to pay for a friend's surgery.
Oh no.
And that friend ended up dying of hip dysplasia.
Yeah.
And so when Jesus sees these gamblers in the casino, that takes him back to that moment, takes him back to his friend with the bad hip.
Yeah.
And I think that added context really, really brought something more to the story. So check out that Braille version.
And what's it called? Just Braille Bible?
Braille Bible, the Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut. Okay, because it
Yes.
was the extended.
Yes.
Got it.
This has been Shop Till You Drop. This has been another episode of Come On Down, the game show podcast that has ads.
Yeah.
Not AIDS, by the way, because originally we had a typo in the tagline.
We did.
In the Braille version.
Yeah.
And check us out on Instagram at Come On Down Show.
Mm-hmm. MySpace.
Yeah. Tom is our username on MySpace.
Yep.
And until next week, we will see you guys later.